Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Clixin It. This week at our venue we were doing Keeping It Simple, which was just basic 400 points, nothing fancy, but some of the teams that everyone brought were anything but simple. Mine was one of them. I just wanted to try a couple other mechanics. I had an Avengers theme team, which had the Chase Namor from Battle Worlds that can carry 4 people. It was Captain America Resilient. It was Jarvis, who gives you a couple ID cards for free. It was the super rare Wasp from Infinity. And I'm drawing a blank on the other one. Oh, Ant-Man, or Hank Pym from Ultron.
The Morph one.
Yep, the Morph one, which I had a couple Morph guys in it, but didn't play it correctly because I misread the card. And then I had Giant Girl, Colossal Retaliator for 10 points and a bunch of ID cards. What was your simple team?
My simple team actually was simple.
Yeah.
I played Clea and Loki from Earth X with Nico and Alex Wilder from the Runaways from
Who,
Battle
I don't know
World,
how it was only 25 points.
because he's only 4 clicks.
But he's got the shape change and mastermind and
Yeah.
two pickup powers basically.
And then I added Doctor Strange, or Sheriff Strange at 50 points. And I had Dormammu, which I got as a birthday present
Yep.
from you. I played him as a Colossal Retaliator.
Like, you know, I want to know that from...
Yeah, I guess, whatever. So my team is actually relatively simple. You know, Clea and Loki play off each other and just kind of threw a bunch of other stuff on there.
And
So
you did relatively good. You just lost to another mystical team.
I lost to another mystical team that happened to have Shadow Pact, so they weren't taking the pen damage from the Mystics team ability, and my dice rolls were not all that great. Even with like 1,000 probs, I still rolled like crap.
Yeah.
So
Dwayne, what was yours?
I played Edge of the Venomverse team. I had Black Panther, Venom, Venom Rocket Raccoon, Venom Gwenpool, and Venom Cap. And then I also had the 50-point Venom Super Rare. The Super Rare, he didn't do that well at the lower points, but I needed one more person to actually get him his, +1 to all his stats. There's a lot to remember with them, with shape change, and a couple of them have senses. And to call in the Venomverse, I didn't remember it enough, and when I did remember it, the attack missed. So I got like 2 out of 5 call-ins that actually worked the entire tournament. So. And I probably forgot about 4 or 5.
Well, and like me and Tyler were talking about that. If you don't play a character that has a couple complicated mechanics, you gotta just forget about it. Because like I never played the morph mechanic, so I misplayed it a few times because I thought sidestep was a move action, but it's considered a free action. And then Tyler and I were talking about like ROC teams where they just have so many different mechanics, but they know the ins and out of it, and that's because they play it over and over and over and over to make sure they don't make that mistake. So, and he made the comment like it's muscle memory. You know who's going to work with who and where you should put it. Like they're thinking also 3 steps ahead of what they're going to do with their figures. So that's why I never like to play complicated teams like that. I just basically like point and shoot teams, maybe an enhancement or reflex here every now and then. But
and
not a lot of
confused you quite a bit today too.
It did. I mean, and I hate taking long turns because I just hate when people like do that accidentally in Turtle to win games. So I like to make my turns, like 1, 2, 3 minutes at a time, not 5, 6. Because I remember, I think it was you. I took at least 8 minutes on one turn because I was trying to figure out where to put everybody to get in the right position.
You had like 1 or 2 turns against me like that too.
Well, that was because I knew Dormammu was coming over, so I was trying to position just right where you couldn't get everybody.
Yeah. And you're trying to get your direct lines for Namor and stuff.
Because you had, well, it was a little different between you.
We had that issue too because we had elevated and stuff too.
Yeah.
So you're trying to like.
Well, it was difficult for you because you had like 4 probs. I'm like, how can I put my guy into an attack where you can't prob anybody, but also where Dormammu can't attack my guys who isn't attacking, and it was a mess.
And then he did all that stuff, and then
I missed. After 8 minutes of strategically placing everybody, I missed.
But did you actually able to get the within 2 with Dormammu because
Yeah.
he's carrying everybody.
Yeah, but
so
then again, I
it
thought
kinda works against
Dormammu's
him.
was within 3, not 2. So if that was the case, my turn probably could have been 2 minutes rather than that because his reach is 3, but his thing is 2 from that character. I thought it was 3 from Dormammu. So that it's just too. Sometimes it's too much to remember with all this stuff. So that's like whenever they have a character that just has like a book front and back, I just like remember the first Dead Man.
And Jericho was
And
the same
Jericho,
way.
which it was
And
just
just,
like
like-
pass, like don't
Yeah.
even care.
And that was like in the early stages of like white powers and
Yeah.
stuff too. It was
Yeah.
just like
Even
meh.
like the new chases from Rebirth. I mean, there's 3 traits and they take up the entire
First
front
section
of
of
the
the
card.
card,
So
yeah.
they basically have to make them books to make them. It's just. I like it that they're making it a little bit more complicated, but I also don't like it in the same spot. But anyways, that was our event. Dan won. He had a mystical team. He had Shadow Pack on all of them, so they ignored the Mystic Team ability.
I don't know.
They were. It's flashing at me again. I don't know why. Let me check this. I might just go get my own camera. I don't know what's going on with this. I will keep going though.
Oh, it's not red.
Oh, I know what happened. Okay, never mind. So when it's flat, okay, I get it now. Sorry about that. It's a little mishap with the camera I had to fix. But Dan won. He had a mystical team, Shadow Pack on everybody, so they didn't take Mystic's damage. And then he had like Enchantress. He had
Nightshade.
He had who's the fire guy? El Diablo.
Yeah.
He had a couple other guys there, and he just like
Shifting Focus, Doctor Strange.
Yep. And he actually played in the championship against
Morgan
his
Le Fay.
buddy Morgan Le Fay, against his buddy Jerry, who just had the Skull Hodgepodge, a bunch of teams. He had Isaac on there, and that video is going to be on Kronos, and that video is going to be up on YouTube also, so you guys can check that out. But so today we're going to talk about figures that we want to play more, but we really have a hard time fitting them on a team, or they just don't work out the way we want them to sometimes. I've got one, Tyler's got one, Dwayne has a couple he wants to talk about, so I'll let him start first because he's got a couple more of them than me and Tyler do.
All right, well, we're going to start with Mr. Iron Slayer. He's a pretty awesome fig. I used him before. I'm not sure how well he'd play now. Then you got Black Panther Shuri, which I did use quite a few times, but, you know, as
I
they
just
keep
wish he had
coming out with more and
Indom.
more,
I wish he had Indom.
that would be nice, too.
Yeah.
Looks like Loki and Clea I played today
Yeah.
too.
Loki
No
should have
Indom?
Indom at 150
Yeah.
points.
And then the one I actually did pick out to kind of spotlight was Cosmic Spider-Man, where I like the character. I'm not sure if I like the click as much, because on the low points he has sidestep but no actual moving attack, and he goes another 100 points when he goes up with a level, and he's the one that fights the Tri-Sentinel and stuff. But when I'm making a team, it's like now it's 170 points. You can do a lot more than what he does. But I still kind of like the sculpt and I like the character. So I'm not sure what you guys think about it.
Well, and you were comparing him to the first one, which I can't remember what set that was. That was Web of Spider-Man.
Web of Spider-Man.
The old one, in kind of all of our opinions, is a little bit better because his wording is for Univision is that his line of fire is never blocked, so nothing blocks it. Elevation, people, characters that have blocking traits. His is just elevation, hindering, and blocking.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there are some limitations. He can't shoot through people. He can't see people that are considered blocked when they're adjacent. Like I played a Batman today that had that. Even the lamppost Batman, where if he's on the edge of elevation.
Oh yeah, the gargoyle one.
He's blocked. So he does have limitations. The hypersonic's nice. The precision strike's nice.
And see, the thing is, like other than like the 75 points, right? Like, because you do that for a call-in. Okay, fine.
Yep.
I don't think I would play him at full points.
No, he's
I don't
too
think
much.
I would.
275. I'm not sure if he can handle
Even in
the workload.
even in like a 500 point game, I don't think I would play.
You
him
would
at
have to
275.
win the map, like the old prison map, then he'd never be touched.
Yeah.
For the points, I think the middle dial's the best one.
Yeah. And didn't they do something with the call-in where they have the name?
No, they
How'd
changed,
they changed it.
Like, they were gonna change it to no more real names, but then they decided to do the old cards work the way they do when they came out, and now the newer ones, like the student and faculty IDs, and then like the wanted poster ones, work how they work. So it's like a separate thing.
Okay. Because I know there was one of those where they made it too powerful, so let's try and fix it, but then they decided to keep it the same.
Well, all those old ones have pretty much rotated out of Modern anyway, so WizKids has a pretty good track record of, it's not in Modern, so we don't care about it.
Yeah.
But now, and you might know this, Dwayne, I don't know, but how does Spider-Man become Cosmic Spider-Man?
The Unipower is actually what it kind of combines with them. Because Captain Universe, you might have heard of him.
Yeah.
He basically is a Unipower, and like with Spider-Man, there's been others like Cosmic.
Cosmic Daredevil, Cosmic X-23.
So the power comes to you when you're most desperate for it, and then it leaves when you can accomplish what you need to accomplish.
Okay, so he only had this stuff for a couple panels, probably.
A bulk or two.
Because you said he fought
He beat the Tri-Sentinel.
Tri-Sentinel, okay.
So, I don't know if this one could beat the Tri-Sentinel. I'd have to check.
Well, just that retaliation pulse wave, and he's dead.
Yeah. And
the Tri-Sentinel, just not to get off topic, but the Tri-Sentinel has traded ESD, so you have to get up close to him.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I don't think you could take him out.
And then the last one I had back here are ones that I would play more. I did play Spiral a good amount, but once
before or after the shit was erected?
A little before, but a couple times after. After they watch listed those two and then just destroyed them, they were more likable.
And if you don't remember how they read Goblin King, they basically just said that if you don't play him at full points, he's not Power Cosmic. And you guys will have to remind me that it was something with her portals where
you had to be on it for a turn. But it was like a free action while you were standing on it to go through it.
And it used to be you could just pass through it to go out where the portal was.
It used to be you could place the two portals and you can pass through their adjacent. But then they changed it to where it has to be underneath you and somewhere else, and at the beginning of your turn, then you can portal.
That's right. Because people were just like portaling across the board, attacking, and then portaling back with hypersonic people. It was...
I did it with the... I didn't do it that way. I portaled across the board, did what I had to do, and then I used the bat signal to call them back.
Oh, that's right. That's right, the bat signal. I remember that thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, good figures. I think this Black Panther's pretty playable.
She's still usable.
Yeah.
It's just I don't.
You wish she had Indom, and she's perfect. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have the same thing with Black Panther that you kind of have with Cosmic Spider-Man. Like when you go into making a team, they're not someone you that's in the forefront of your mind.
Yeah, and isn't she Avengers? No, Wakanda, martial artist, mystical ruler, warrior. So she only has one named keyword, which is rough.
Wakanda.
Yeah, that's rough.
But she is fun to use.
She is. I won her 2 years ago at Origins.
How many points is she?
105.
Okay. On the other hand, would you rather play her, or would you rather pay the extra 45 points for Gauntlet Panther?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because that one's still able to, at 150, be able to choose which...
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
You just don't get the stop clicks with the zombies at the end.
Yeah. All right, Tyler's got one that I've never owned, but he's a big Ultron guy, so of course he owns them.
Yep. During the Age of Ultron event, I actually pulled this one, because I pulled him, and I was lucky enough to pull 2 phalanxes during the actual tournament. So with him, I played him in 2 tournaments. And I'm pretty sure he's undefeated at this point. I just wasn't a figure that, I wanted to play a lot because, everything gets pumped out so fast. You want to play all the new stuff right away. And then it's kind of they get good pieces like this get lost in the shuffle. But he was always fun to play with 2 Ultron 1 drones because they have that white power after you push them. That
Is that the garbage pail one?
the garbage pail one. So he has a trait where when he's about to get KO'd, you turn to his last KO click, kill somebody else with the robot keyword. That's lesser points, and then he gets a free regen. And then you KO the other one. So if you play him with the Ultron drones, and you play him with the 2 Ultron 1s, or you can do it with 1, but with 2 you get 2 die rolls, because then they can, on a 5 or 6, they like save them, and they come back in on their 30 point, so you can just constantly keep bringing him back to life.
Now, he was one of the, or maybe is the only one from that set that didn't have a drone counterpart, right?
No, he did.
Did he?
They all did.
Okay.
The super rares, so it was the Ultron 1, the trash can, and the plasma beam one. Where he's standing like this with the thing. Those had drones, and then all the chases had drones.
Okay. Yeah, the giant one, the Phalanx.
This one.
And that one. And then there's one more. I thought there were 4 chases.
There are.
One.
The Inhumans one, the Phalanx.
Spider.
This one. And
The spider one.
not the drone one,
the giant spider one.
The sixth
Oh yeah,
The stealth,
Yeah.
the crazy one. That's
The one that had like a spider.
I'm thinking the drone. When you say spider, I'm thinking
the one that's
spider drone.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
for
Gorotron.
Gorotron, yeah.
Yeah, so he was always really fun to play, but I did really well with him. He's my play style because I prefer like running shot, psychic blast pieces versus like, say, running shot pulse wave kind of stuff. I prefer psychic blast over pulse wave, and then he goes into hypersonic with precision strike, and he's got that nice revive mechanic at the end and stuff. He was just one that kind of got lost in the shuffle with a bunch of stuff just getting pumped out.
So besides the free regen white power, what else? What other white powers does he have?
One on movement here is mind control running shot. He can use it as a free action, but only to target a character with the robot or armor keyword. And then the characters he uses mind control on get their combat values increased by 1 during your turn.
Okay.
And then after your turn's over, it's -1.
Oh, okay.
So when you get your guy back, now it's -1. And then you had the imperative trait, which was the regen one. Then he's got one here. This was another cool power. The Sons of Yinsen follow me anywhere. Ultron can use shape change. When he does and succeeds, remove an action token from each friendly character within 4.
Okay.
So he's another one too where you'd want to put the mirror on him.
Yeah.
So that you have that increased chance of pulling tokens off people.
And how many points?
180.
Yeah, that's a lot nowadays.
And to go against him, it's kind of one of those, do you want to attack him or do you want to get rid of his support before you go after him?
So mine is one that not a lot of people have ever talked about, but it's Sugar Man from the Uncanny X-Men. And to talk about him first, I have to tell a little story. So I've always loved Sugar Man just because he killed the X-Men. I don't know the complete story behind it, but I know that he wiped out the X-Men by himself. So that's kind of why I wanted them. Because I like the X-Men, but they're not one of my favorites. I just think they're being overdone. Because if you guys don't know, we're getting X-Men Genesis this summer for OP.
Well, it's like every other set is an X-Men.
Yeah, and then we're getting the animated series. So it's just like X-Men again. But I really wanted him, and he's a chase. So I knew he was going to be hard to get. So I found a guy who pulled him at our pre-release, but he wanted an astronomical amount for him. He wanted the full Hulkbuster set from, what was the set that the Hulkbusters?
Invincible Iron Man?
Invincible Iron Man. So he wanted the full thing, and at that time it was going for like $60-$70 because it was still kind of a cool mechanic. He also wanted Nick Balls of Fury, which at the time were going for like $80 because you could call him in with the level 5 ID card. And there was one other figure level 7. And there was one other figure that he wanted, but I couldn't remember what it was. But it ended up being like $180 worth of figures for this one guy when he was only going for like 70, but I didn't want to pay it. So I made the deal with him, and I said, I'll mail it out tomorrow. I have a pre-release tonight. Let me go there, and then I'll mail it out tomorrow. We get to the pre-release, and a lot of people show up, because it was buy 2 boosters, play a battle, and we had 6 people show up. And the judge said, well, because there's 6 people show up and not enough boosters, we're going to do snake draft at the end. So everyone's going to get 1 booster, you'll play that, and then you'll buy another booster or something else, and then the winner, put everything in the middle, and then snake draft. And I didn't really want that because I'm like, watch, I'm going to pull something good. But luckily, one of the guys decided to bow out, so we ended up having only 5 players. And one of the boosters was my Sugar Man. And I was so happy because now I got him. We don't have to do a sugar draft, or a snake draft, because I'm like, if I pull him and don't get him, I'm going to be pissed. But luckily I got him. I texted the guy back, or I messaged the guy back and said, you'll never guess what I pulled. Sugar Man, sorry. If you're okay with it, deal's off. And he was okay with it, which was nice because he probably understood how bad I wanted him and how much I was actually giving up for him. But I've always liked him. The only problem is, like with Black Panther, he just doesn't have the keywords. He's got Age of Apocalypse and Scientist. Yes, I know Scientist is a popular one because a lot of people have them, but I like being named because I like that theme prop. I couldn't really give a crap about map half the time because, like today with my Jarvis, who, if my team's indoor, they ignore hindering terrain for line of fire purposes. I forgot about it twice. I won every map, but 2 times I picked an outdoor map. So I've never been that good of doing map rolls. But I just liked him because he's... Go ahead.
I was going to say, even after you're like, I want an indoor map on the second one.
Yeah, I keep telling myself, indoor map. And I'm like, oh, I like this map. Fuck, it's an outside map. But I liked him because he was pretty universal. He had those 3 weapons that came with him, were the axe, the sword, and the hammer.
And that was part of that cool set, too, because that was Uncanny, right?
Yes.
So that was him, Sabretooth, Wildchild.
Which I want.
Juggernaut had the helmet
Magneto,
coming off.
And then the Fastball Special. Every one of them had something detachable. Like, he had the weapons, Magneto has the debris, Wolverine, or Weapon X,
comes off the Sentinel hand.
Colossus is
they go
throwing
together.
them.
Yeah.
And then, what was the last one? I just said it.
Was it Jean Grey?
No.
Wildchild.
Sabretooth
Oh, yeah.
Wildchild. Wildchild comes off the base, which they reused that sculpt
Very much.
for Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
Now, wasn't Jean Grey part of that?
No, she's a different...
Okay.
Yeah.
She was Xavier School.
Okay.
Because that was the original 5 X-Men plus
Okay.
Sinister.
But, he's got some pretty good values. He comes with the 3 weapons. You can choose 2 of them. The axe gives him a critical hit from a 10 to a 12. The hammer is basically in cap with an attack, but only if you roll a 10 or 12. And then the sword is Blaze Claw's Fangs. But, he has Sidestep to start off with. Actually, it's Sidestep and Flurry. So that's good with the blades or the critical hit or anything like that. He's got an 18 defense, 11 attack, 4 damage, shape change. He does have a weird stop click where it says shrunk myself into your blood.
Yeah.
Where it says Sugar Man has a tiny symbol, can't be healed. When this click is revealed, place any equipment objects on the map adjacent to him. When an adjacent posing character moves or is placed after resolution, you may place Sugar Man adjacent to that character. So kind of like what Despotalis did.
Yep. He's like the
And he has decent stats, if I remember, on that click. It's like a 19 defense. Yeah, it's a 19, but he's got 2 movement, 9 attack, 11 exploit. So, he's basically just an annoying piece at that time. He's not going to do much, but he's hard to hit. And then he also has Bioelectric Tongue of Extreme Length, which is give Sugar Man a ranged combat action, make a range attack targeting a single opposing character within 6 squares in line of fire. The hit character is dealt 1 penetrating damage instead of normal damage and placed adjacent. So basically he has a scorpion, get over here, but with his tongue. So, and again...
I bet you Gene likes it.
Right? And again, he's got Flurry at that point. He's got 11 attack, so... I wish it was more than 1 damage. For it. He doesn't have a range, so at least what you're hoping to do is pull him in close and then flurry next turn.
Yep.
Well, when you flurry, can't you use the blades?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
but I'm saying with the range, you have to do the range first to bring him over.
in.
And then he has Indom, which is nice, so then you'd have to bring him over. But I always just thought he looked cool. I'll put some pictures of him later, but I always just thought he looked cool also.
Yep.
And then the mechanic with the objects were cool too. But that's about it. We're pretty much almost at the half-hour mark, so we're gonna cut it there. So if you guys got a figure that you want to play more but just don't have the chance to, what were Ultron's keywords, by the way?
Stark Industries, Robot, and Ruler.
So
not much there either.
Again, one name keyword, and Stark Industries is kind of a hard one, especially when you have 100.
I mean, they came out with the Iron Man 3 movie set, and then there's some sporadic.
Well, you got Peace Machine, which is nice, and they're making
Tony's
cheap Iron Man
car.
now, Tony's car, stuff like
which
that.
I still haven't played yet.
And they're making cheaper Iron Man now, which is nice. They're not making those 200-point ones.
Yep.
But if you guys have one that you want to play more, leave it in the comments below. And make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Gotta get those subscribes up there and likes. Come on, guys. We want to get this channel going. And start dinging our dongs. You know what? You guys hear that? Dinging the dongs? Ding our dongs, okay? It's not a sexual thing. But we'll see you guys on the next episode.